The cameras kept rolling while everything fell apart. Celebrations turned into chaos, cheers into confusion, and smiles into panic. Some of the most intense and unexpected moments in television history happened live, with no way to cut away. Cher was finally sitting across from Letterman after years of avoiding his show. The air felt tense but playful. It was clear she came ready.
So that you thought that was one reason, but of course that's not really the reason.
She uncrossed her arms, leaned in, and gave him a look that said she was not here to play along.
What was the I mean, you must have had a change of heart about something.
Then came the sentence that lit up the whole room. Cher dropped a line that shocked even Letterman.
I don't know, because I thought that I would never want to do this show with you.
Now why?
But what followed next? That bleeped word shook the entire studio.
Because you thought I was
an ass.
He had no comeback, just laughter, a cigar, and pure chaos. The match looked normal. Christian Eriksen moved to receive a throw-in like any other play, but what followed froze the entire stadium.
To make his way in for Finland.
He fell forward with no warning. There was no challenge, no push, just silence and shock.
Play's going to be halt.
His teammate ran to check on him, but it was clear something serious had happened. His eyes stayed open, but he was not moving.
Again, and this does look serious.
The referee came over and players started waving to the sidelines, panic setting in.
Well, Christian Eriksen.
This was no ordinary fall. It became clear this was an emergency.
Well, players knew straight away that was a heavy fall.
At first, it looked like a normal day at Hillsborough, but behind the Liverpool goal, something serious was starting.
And the police are on the pitch to tell the referee to stop the proceeding.
The referee was told by police to stop the game. They were not just reacting to crowd noise. They had seen real danger.
Because there is danger
Right after, the referee nodded and signaled for the players to leave the field.
here that the crowd is going to encroach upon the pitch because of overcrowding at the...
As players walked off, the seriousness became more visible. The stands behind them were packed too tightly.
back of the goal, and the referee is taking the players off.
Then we saw one official put his arm around a player, trying to explain what was happening.
Cup semi-final has been interrupted after 6 minutes because of
Police and players looked toward the crowd. The tension was growing.
problems here. Capacity of Hillsborough, 54,000.
Even the manager looked back while heading to the tunnel. His face said it all.
And Ray Lewis, the referee, is doing the sensible thing in taking the player.
This one started as light entertainment, but Alan Partridge had no idea what would follow the next few seconds.
I love the bagpipes. I love the screeching, wheezing, rasping.
Suddenly, Alan is seen holding an old-style pistol. The guest, now uneasy, warns him to be careful.
They make me careful with that.
Forbes falls back like it is real. Alan freezes. His eyes widen in total shock.
Oh my God! What happens now?
He starts to panic, unsure what just happened. Other guests rush in.
Now?
Is there a doctor somewhere?
It's not my fault. It wasn't I didn't.
Alan keeps saying he did not know, but no one is listening now.
I didn't know it was loaded.
There is no need to
I didn't know it was loaded.
The man in charge arrives and hears Alan pleading again.
Oh, I've not done. How is he all right?
The camera kept showing the match, but the voice of the commentator changed. You could sense that he had spotted something strange. His focus shifted from the pitch to the stands.
And we've actually got a fire in the stand on the far side of the ground.
His voice became more serious. He noticed smoke rising. At first, it looked small, but the situation was getting worse very quickly.
And that looks very nasty indeed. Now the police have gone over there to...
What started as just a wisp of smoke soon turned into bright flames. People were still sitting, unsure of what was happening, but then panic set in.
The fire, and they're frantically getting some of the supporters out.
This was no longer just a fire. It was turning into a disaster. The camera zoomed in. You could see the fear in people's eyes as they rushed to escape.
These are extraordinary scenes at Valley Parade. It's supposed to be a day of celebration.
George looked serious. then calmly offered to become a cat.
Now would you like me to be the cat?
Next, on all fours, George acted like a cat as Rula stroked his head and spoke to him like a pet. The camera showed the view from Senna's car. He was going fast, steady on the track, with perfect control and focus. As he entered the left-hand Tamburello curve, everything looked normal. The car held tight to the racing line. Then, without warning, the car suddenly turned off track and went straight into the wall. From a wider angle, we saw a violent crash. Debris flew into the air. The impact was huge. Angie lowered her voice and looked directly at Tiffany. Her tone was heavy, like she was sharing something private and serious. But Tiffany completely misunderstood what Angie meant.
You can't say a word. Nothing. David's dead. No, he's not.
Tiffany froze for a second. Then her body suddenly stiffened. Her eyes got wide and she grabbed Angie. She let out a scream like she had just seen a ghost.
You can't do that.
It got louder and messier by the second. Tiffany started crying, yelling, asking if it was true, as if the walls were closing in. Angie tried to calm her down, but it was already too late.
Are you serious?
Here is Jimmy Savile in the middle of the stage. He stands with a crowd of young women around him. His smile is wide and his tone is light. But knowing what we know now, it feels wrong. The camera moves closer to him. He keeps smiling, waving one hand. He sounds like a confident host, but his words feel empty and strange in hindsight. He ends the show like any host would, with a cheerful goodbye. The women next to him nod and smile. But it all feels fake now. It is hard to believe no one saw what was really happening.
And all we can say is, good night from all of us here on top of the pops.
Then the screen changes. A white arrow points to a young woman. A bold text appears, asking how no one noticed it. It makes you look again, more closely.
And it's number one time, and of course, if you believe me now, it's from the one and only.
He says the band's name in a strange way. Some of the girls laugh softly, but the moment is already uncomfortable. The smiles do not feel right anymore.
Chicago.
He finishes with a thank you. Applause rises, but so does a sense of unease. The clip stops, but the feeling stays.
And thank you very much.
Mel B is mid-sentence when Lewis casually places his hand on her side. She suddenly stops and looks down, clearly disturbed.
She's the baby. She's all told. It's going to be incredible.
Without hesitation, she directly questions him. The tone changes in the room.
Why are you grabbing my clothes?
Lewis tries to joke, but Mel B firmly shuts it down with one word. As the program opens, dramatic music plays under the title card showing the date. The camera quickly shifts to old news clips and chaotic stadium scenes.
5 British soccer hooliganism reached its all-time low.
We then see police entering dark tunnels, followed by people running and falling. Panic takes over. The crowd is out of control.
Italian followers of Juventus at the European Cup final in the Heysel Stadium in Brussels.
Bodies press against the fences. Fear spreads fast. Police are seen helpless as people try to escape the crush.
The press of bodies trying to escape from the violence led to the collapse of a safety fence.
Michael Barrymore was in full swing during a light-hearted game segment. He placed a guest inside a wooden pillory and teased him with playful energy. The audience laughed along. The group then broke into a silly dance, singing around the trapped guest. But the fun did not last long. Suddenly, the pillory collapsed. The guest crashed forward, still locked inside. The mood turned from laughter to panic. Barrymore rushed to help, but then yelled for everyone to stop. Realizing the danger,
Jesus, stop, don't do a thing. Don't do a thing.
Whitehead made a strong move toward the basket. The ball missed, and everyone scrambled for the rebound. Then suddenly, something alarming happened off the ball.
Goes up with a double clutch right hand, no call. And the rebound by Noko as he clears it.
Zeke Upshaw had fallen. At first, nobody noticed. Then the whistle blew, and the mood shifted instantly.
And now we've got a player down.
Trainers rushed in. The court fell silent. Everyone watched, unsure of what was wrong.
And Zeke Upshaw.
The Buffalo Sabres were pressing hard against the St. Louis Blues, looking for a goal. Then, a routine play suddenly turned terrifying near the crease.
By Bodger, there's a long shot. Reno makes the save, a loose puck in front. Benoit holds.
As the pressure grew, both teams scrambled around the net. The puck moved fast, but what came next was something no one could prepare for. A hard collision happened right in front of the goal.
Mahar goes to the corner of the pass, and oh, wow!
Watch Malarchuk.
Then came the horrifying moment. The skate of a Blues player rose and slashed Clint Malarchuk's neck. Blood spilled instantly. The crowd, the players, and the commentators were frozen in horror. Malarchuk dropped to the ice, grabbing his neck as blood poured out. The scene was beyond belief. Commentators pleaded to stop showing the camera shot. Everyone was in shock.
Over there, please. Oh, my God. Just keep it away. Oh, terrible.
A trainer rushed in, pressing a towel to Clint's throat. Players watched, helpless and stunned, as seconds felt like forever.
Oh my God, what happened?
Noel speaks with energy, unaware of the danger ahead. His words now sound strangely close to what is about to happen.
And now let's go to Centre Pod and find out how the next live challenge is going to go and whether...
At the wet track, Mike Smith sounds uneasy. He tries to stay calm, but his voice shows concern.
Everything was all right after that last one. Oh, very nervous because it came down about where I was standing, but miraculous.
A silver car speeds toward the ramp. Mike sounds nervous and steps back as the car gets closer.
I am moving backwards as I talk to you, actually, because I'm a bit of a coward. He's coming.
The car launches but tilts forward. It crashes hard. The sound is awful, and Mike reacts with shock.
Indeed, very fast.
Rescue teams rush in. Smoke rises. In the studio, Noel looks deeply worried. Marco was cornering hard, trying to hold his line. But something went wrong. His bike lost control and moved right into the path of the other riders.
That's one where he's missing out, but he's strung around other parts of the track, although... Whoa!
The crash was instant and brutal. Riders collided and Marco was thrown violently. His helmet even came off an impact.
Oh, that's Marco Simoncelli's had a horrific crash.
There was silence. The riders lay on the ground. The commentators could not hide their shock. No one knew how bad it really was.
That's an awful crash.
Todd was moving fast on the side hill. Suddenly, one of his skis came off and he lost control. It all happened so fast.
Extremely high speed. He loses his ski, hits the gate.
He flipped over and over, like a rag doll, rolling helplessly down the steep slope. The crash looked endless and painful.
And then it's a free fall. It's extremely steep in the Zeal.
He slammed into the fence and lay still. The commentator said he was knocked out. It was clear how serious the crash was.
And he is really just tumbling. He was unconscious. And
while fans were still celebrating, something serious happened near the sideline. Jock Stein collapsed, and people rushed to help him.
What an amazing night of dramatic football.
The cameras followed as he was carried off. It looked like chaos, and the concern on their faces showed how serious it was.
And the celebrations are more with Scotland than anybody else. Jock Stein being...
Even with all this happening, most fans in the stands had no idea. They were cheering, waving flags, and lost at that moment.
But it's been a night.
Here, Keith walks out cheerfully, with just a helmet on, holding a leafy prop, acting like nothing is strange.
Hello, and a warm welcome to a game show with a difference.
He spins and runs off, laughing loudly, and yes, the camera catches it all. Now he returns to camera, smiling big and welcoming viewers again, saying they are all about to take off their clothes.
Hello and a warm welcome to the Naked Jungle.
Come on, we're going to take our clothes off.
This magician probably thought he had everything under control. Dressed for the part, on a stage with lights and curtain, the show began. Things were already looking a bit odd. She bent lower while he adjusted his jacket, clearly waiting for something to work. Then he placed both hands on her back and gave a strange little wave to the crowd. That was supposed to impress us. But right here is where everything starts to fall apart.